Hello new Scratch users, and welcome to the presentation on sprites, costumes, and backgrounds. If you're not a new Scratch user, I would recommend trying a later tutorial. So before we start coding, there are a few sections that you should probably know the names of, or at least what they knew. The names aren't necessary. This large panel over here is called the scripts area. This is where you're going to drag blocks, which are divided into different categories and colors from the block area, which is this area, into the scripts area. So if you wanted this piece of code, you could click and drag it into the scripts area, and if you didn't want it, you could click and drag it into the blocks area to delete it. This area over here is called the stage. There are two buttons in the stage, this green flag and this stop sign, and I guess there are three buttons, and this button. This is the full screen button to make the stage go full screen. The green flag is one of the most common ways to start a script, which for the code you can find the events section, which I'll tell you about later, and the red stop sign, which will stop all scripts in all characters, including the stage. Our scratch cat here is a sprite or character and can easily be clicked and dragged to move about the stage. When you start up a new Scratch project, the scratch cat will automatically appear right in the middle. Down here is the sprites pane, where you'll find a list of all the sprites that you have. We right now only have one sprite. If you click on the I button on the top left corner of any sprite after having selected it, it will open up this menu, which is the sprites info menu. You can change the sprite's name here. I'm going to call this guy Scratch Cat. There are also several different options, which I will probably be telling you about in later videos. And then finally, the stage, which will open up a new scripts area for the stage scripts. It has several different pieces of code because this is basically the background. You cannot move the background, so there are no motion blocks. To start a project, you will in general not use the scratch cat, so you can go ahead and delete that by right-clicking on him and then pressing delete. You notice that deletes him from both the sprites area and the stage, as well as all of his code. Now to add a new sprite, we have several options. We can choose a sprite from the library, paint a new sprite, upload a sprite from our computer, or take a picture. For this tutorial, I'm going to be choosing a sprite from the library. Once you click on that button, it will open up this menu. These are all of the sprites that Scratch has to offer right here. If you want to divide them up so it's easier to find the one you're looking for, you can find it in the category section here, themes, and type, bitmap, and vector, which I'll be explaining later. I'm personally an animals person, so I'm going to be choosing an animal. I really like this little monkey. I think he's kind of cute. So you can click on whichever sprite you want. I'm going to be using the monkey, and then click OK. Now you can see that added the monkey to both our sprites area and our stage. You can click and drag your sprite into the middle. Now if you click on this tab up here labeled costumes, it's going to open up the costumes pane. Our monkey automatically comes with 3 costumes, monkey 2A, 2B, and 2C, to make it easier to code if you want him to have different emotions. Down here you can see that we're in vector mode, and there's a button, convert to bitmap. I'm not going to do that because our sprite was created in vector mode, but if you were to do that, the difference between bitmap and vector is that bitmap uses hundreds and thousands of tiny pixels, each with their own color, to draw your sprite, whereas vector mode can use mathematical formulas to create lines and curves, which can make it more smooth. I'm pretty happy with this guy's costumes, so I'm going to leave that at that. If we want to change his costumes with code, go into the Events tab here and drag out the When Green Flag clicked. Then go into the Looks tab and drag out both Switch Costume and Next Costume. What these two scripts do, this one will switch the costume to whichever costume you have selected. The 3 costumes in this particular monkey are 2A, 2B, and 2C. Right now it's selected to be switch costume to monkey 2C. However, these scripts aren't going to do anything unless you connect them. So if you click and drag this piece of code, it should snap right in with the When Green Flag clicked. What this is saying is that when the green flag clicked, do the following code. which is switch the costume to monkey 2C. If I click the green flag, watch the monkey, he switches to monkey 2C. However, if I click the green flag again, nothing is going to happen because the monkey's already at 2C. You can drag that code off of the green flag. Now add this next costume code. What this is saying is that when the green flag is clicked, go to the next costume. If we go into the Costumes tab, we can see that our monkey is currently at costume monkey 2C. When we go to next costume, he should go to monkey 2A, then 2B, then 2C, then 2A, and so on. As you can see, 2B, 2C, 2A, 2B, 2C. And you can do this forever, as long as you want. The code will never run out. Now the only problem is that our monkey is standing in a background of solid white. You can change that by clicking on this stage area here, and then clicking on the Backdrops tab. To make a new backdrop, we have several options. You can choose a backdrop from the library, paint your own, upload your backdrop from a file, or take a picture and use that as a backdrop. I'm just going to be showing you guys how to paint a backdrop. This carries over into the sprites as well, which is why I'm only painting one. Over here we have the option bitmap mode or convert to vector. I'm going to be painting in bitmap mode. Click on the ellipse tool and then change it to the solid ellipse by clicking on this button down here. This would make an outlined ellipse, this makes a solid ellipse. You can then change the color to whatever color you want your sun to be. I'm going to do yellow. Click the shift key, then take your mouse in the top left corner. Click and drag. This will make a perfect circle as long as your shift key is held. You can then move it around and center it however you want using the little green dot in the middle. You can change its size by using these outside options. I'm pretty satisfied with that, so just click away. Now, click on this line tool here. This will let you draw a perfect straight line. You can change the line thickness by using this slider over here. I'm going to make the line fairly thick. Now choose whatever color you want your grass to be. I'm just going to do a fairly light green. Click and drag from one side of the screen across to the other to make your grass. Now click on the brush tool. Scratch doesn't like to use the fill tool unless it's a perfect boxed in area. So what we have to do is just make a boxed in area. This one doesn't have to be neat, just make sure you don't overlap it. You can then click on the paint bucket tool and click in the white. That should fill in the rest of everything. You can go back to your brush tool, and now we're going to make the sky. I'm going to make this fairly skinnier and click a light blue for the sky. Now if you want to carefully go around the sun, I might have to make that a little skinnier. There we go. And I'm going to go down as well while my brush is still skinny. Oops. And now you can make it a little thicker and finish it up, carefully meeting it with the grass, hopefully so that it doesn't overlap. This doesn't have to be completely perfect. And then use the fill tool and click, and that should fill in your sky. You now have one of the most basic backdrops you can make, which should be the grass, the sky, and a sun. This ends our tutorial on sprites, costumes, and backdrops. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thanks for watching, guys.